Hello everyone, my name is Jennifer Stay, this is Coloring Bliss, and today we're doing a head-to-head battle. It's Holbein versus Prismacolor.
Very good.
Now, we've had requests for me to review the Holbein pencils, and we thought it'd be fun to do a head-to-head battle against my favorite, the Prismacolors, and a lot of you adore the Holbein pencils, so I think this will be a fun head-to-head battle, and we have a free download. So if you have a couple brands of pencils you would like to do a head-to-head battle with or against, then this 2-page download will be perfect for you. So there's links to the download in the video description, and I also want to remind you that you have 1 more week left for our giant, amazing, pearlescent liquid acrylic giveaway. So check out the link in the video description to take you to where you can get lots of different ways to enter for that giveaway. I'm so excited. I think the last day is August 17th.
Yeah, that's right.
So you still have lots of time to get your entries in. I'm so excited to give away those pearlescent inks, but for now, let's talk about Holbein. Do you guys know anything about these pencils? I'm excited to show you. All right, these are my 2 tins of Holbein Artists Colored Pencils. There's a lot of weird S's and no S there, and yeah. Okay, so I just wanted to mention right off that we are not sponsored by Holbein, but this set right here was gifted to me by one of my awesome fans, so thank you very much. We did purchase these right here. I wanted to buy a bigger set, but they are so pricey. We're going to talk about price here in a minute, and this is all I could afford, and I feel very spoiled to have the pencils that I do have. Now, Holbein is not a new company. They've been around for a long time. They come from Japan, and they are a beautiful pencil, and I have done some coloring in the past with them, especially the pastel set, but not a ton of coloring, so I'm excited to do some testing and really do some comparing between a product that I'm very familiar with and these pencils here. So let you see them really quick, and we'll swatch them, and then we'll get into the head-to-head testing. One thing that's really cool about these tins, Japan is so good at their packaging and things like this. They have these 2 little words right here. See, push and push right here, so you just push like that and it opens the tin. So if you have long fingernails or weak hands or something, they're really easy to get into the tin. So this is what the Holbeins look like, and I'll show you. Let's look at the yellow. It's so pretty and happy. So they are a round pencil. It's a 3.8 millimeter core, so same size core as the Prismacolor. The ends are dipped in paint, and they have gold metallic writing on them. They're really pretty, and so far from all my swatching and use with them, the color that they are dipped in is very close to the color that they actually color off. So that's been very nice for coloring. Now, you guys know I do not like a metallic writing on a color pencil, but check out how big the writing is. So it actually is relatively easy to read. Let me move it in the light there. Can you kind of see right there? So you've got the name, this OP, which we'll talk about here in a minute, and then the number 147, and it says Holbein Works Limited, and then it has 3 stars right here, which is referring to their Lightfast information, which I haven't been able to find any documentation on whether they're using the ASTM standards or the blue wool standards. So that's a Lightfast standard that I would take with a grain of salt. I don't think there's any documentation or proof of what that really means. And I've read some people that are kind of upset about the Lightfast standards. If you want to know more about Lightfast and whether you should be worried about Lightfast or not, I'll have Steve put a link to a recent video that we did where we discussed whether colorists need to even be worried about Lightfast. Professional artists definitely need to be, but do colorists need to? So check out that video and see if you even need to be worried about those 3 little stars that are sitting right there. So that's what they look like. They come in nice little tins. That's this right here. So I'm going to let you go ahead and enjoy some swatching. I swatched them on white, tan, and black. And then when you come back, I want to talk about something that is kind of interesting to know, that this set came from Dick Blick, and they couldn't carry these pencils for a really long time. So I'm going to tell you why couldn't Dick Blick carry Holbein pencils? So we'll talk about that after you enjoy the swatching footage. As I'm setting up these swatch pages, I'm getting them set up so I can swatch both of my 12 sets on white, tan, and black paper. And as I'm going through, I am quite enjoying writing down the names. Even though the lettering on the pencils is in a metallic print, it's bigger print, so it's quite easy to read, so I'm really grateful for that. Now, next to each of the numbers, there's the letters O and P. If you know what those stand for or what they mean, please comment below. I'm not sure what they mean. So on my white swatches, I went ahead and put the OP next to each of the numbers, but thereafter I just dropped the OP because I didn't feel like writing it every single time. One thing I have noticed while swatching the Holbein pencils is there is a bit of a dust issue. It's not too severe. I have swatched worse, but there is more dust than some pencils. So here, as I'm swatching the black, it's the most noticeable. The black paper is perfect for seeing a dust issue. So here, as I'm swatching, pay attention to the dust that comes off as I'm using these pencils. Okay, I hope you enjoyed that footage. I have all the swatches here. We're going to look at them together, but I'm going to answer that question. Why did Dick Blick not carry the Holbeins for a long time? Do you know why, Steve?
Wasn't it because of the poisonous minerals or something?
Yeah. So if you look at this set right here, I believe whoever gifted this to me got them from Amazon. And this was the old formulation before they made it USA friendly. That's how we're going to refer to this. And if you look at their old literature that came in the tin right here, if you look at their health and safety, use of Holbein color pencils: do not lick the core of the pencil, keep the pencils away from children while using, wash your hands thoroughly after use, and store the pencils in a safe place and keep out of reach of children. Huge health and safety. And if you use your phone and your Google Translate app where it can read this Japanese and translate it into English, there's even more health and safety information here about all of that. So I don't know exactly what was going on in this formulation, but they had to correct that issue before Dick Blick could carry it in their lines and sell it to the United States and all of whoever else they're selling to. So there's a little trivia for you. That's why we couldn't easily get our hands on it, and that's another reason why for the longest time we didn't talk about them too much here on our channel, because when I saw that health and safety and it wasn't readily available, I was like, oh, I don't know if I should be talking about it and encouraging people to buy the Holbeins. But now that health and safety doesn't come with these anymore, and if Dick Blick is feeling like it's relatively safe, I mean, I don't think you should be like eating the pencils or anything, but that goes without saying for most art supplies.
Tell you not to lick it.
Yeah, don't lick it, you guys. So this set, I shouldn't be licking, but I guess this set I can lick all I want. Go for it. So I thought that was funny. But let's take a look now at the swatches, and I don't think Steve has seen these swatches yet.
No, I haven't.
So here they are on white, right here, and here they are on black, And here they are on tan.
Oh, wow.
So they are really fun to color with. They are an oil-based pencil, and I think that's why people get really excited about these pencils, because they go down very slick, very oily. These are high on the oil side. So all color pencils are made up of pigments, oils, waxes, and other kinds of binders. I'm not an art chemist, so I don't know everything that's going on, but I know that much. Every pencil has wax and oils in it. But the Holbeins have more oils than waxes, and the Prismacolors have more waxes than oils. That's what I understand about the makeup of these pencils. So they do have a very different feel when you color with them, and they will perform differently and do different things. So that's exciting to those of us who love color pencils and love to color, that you can have different experiences with a similar tool. So, because of the oil base, when you put them on different types of paper, they will perform differently. If you look here, here are the Derwent Lightfast pencils, the Caran Luminance pencils, and now here are the two sets of Holbein. So you can kind of see, let's take orange. Orange was one that colored quite transparent. If you look at the true color out on white, look how vivid and bright that orange is on white. That's like creamsicle orange, right? Really, really orange. But on black, it really had a hard time. It really struggled. So it's a very translucent color, which is really neat. If you look up here at something like the Caran is orange. I'm trying to see if it doesn't look like we had an orange in that set of Derwent Lightfast. So some of the colors in the Holbein seem to be more opaque and some were a little bit more translucent. The carmine was very, look at the difference between on the black and on the white. Very, very vivid here on the white and more translucent on the black. So it's very interesting. They're gorgeous on the tan paper. I really want to color one of my chibis that are in here. This is my chibi coloring book that is all printed on tan paper, and I really want to try coloring just with the Holbeins on the tan paper because I think they're all just so beautiful on here. It's so really stunning. So that's exciting to me. Okay, so that's the swatching. Let's get to the testing, the head-to-head. So I want you to guess now. What do you think? Do you think I'm going to favor Prismacolor or favor Holbein? And what we have here is a 2-page scoring head-to-head comparison worksheet for you that's a free download. That's going to help as we work through this and kind of help us test these pencils out. So what we're going to do, I'm going to teach you how to use this worksheet, and you can print it off and pick two of your brands. Maybe you own Crayola and Polychromos, and you want to do a head-to-head battle between those two brands. So you can do that. You can print this off and do a battle of your own at home. So today we're going to battle. Let's put Prismacolor as brand 1. Prismacolor. And we're going to put Prismacolor up against the Holbein. Okay, so that's step 1 is to put the two brands at the top, okay? Now, you may have seen a similar worksheet to this, but it was, 4 years ago that we did something like this. So Steve and I went through and we updated it with some of the new things that we look at now when we are analyzing color pencils. And we added an entire second page. So this is all brand new and really exciting. So I had Steve print this page where we're going to be doing the practical testing on our really nice color pencil paper. I'll have Steve put put a link to this color pencil paper in the video description as well if you're interested in that. And then I just had them printed on standard copy paper, this first scoring page, okay? So we'll go through this top part first, and what you do is you give a tick on each side of which one you think wins on each item, and then at the end we'll score and see who wins. So hopefully this will be a little less subjective, although it's still going to be subjective in certain parts, you'll see, but it will be a little more fair, and we'll see who comes out ahead, Prismacolor or Holbein. Okay, so the first item on the list is availability in your area. So this is an awesome item because this will, you know, Holbeins are relatively available in my area because I can get them through Dick Blick and on Amazon too, but I can't just walk into my local Michael's or Hobby Lobby and pick them up. Where I can, Prismacolor, I can just walk into Michael's and buy a new white color pencil if I need it. So I would say availability in my area, Prismacolor wins. So I'm going to give it an X over here for that one. So this would change. Maybe you live in Australia and Holbeins are on the shelf at your grocery store. I don't know. I'm just guessing. So that might change. Okay. Best price value in your area. Now we get to discuss the price of these little guys. They are so expensive. Okay, so this little set right here cost us almost $40 just for this little 12 set. We got a nice variety of colors, which I'm happy about. It's a good set. We'll be able to do a lot of coloring with it, but it was almost $40. It was $39.48. They have 3 packs of 12 like this. They have a basic, a designer, and a pastel set that you can get. Now beyond that, they have a 24 set, a 36 set, and a 50 set. And the prices just jump like crazy. The 50 set is $158, you guys. The one that was startling to me was the 24 set was $78. Yeah. We wanted the 24 set at least, but we could not. $78 for 24 pencils. That was just like, oh, painful. To get the full set, all 150 pencils, which is the best per pencil value, was still $425. That's in the same league as the Luminance pencils, you guys. That's how expensive these guys. The Caran Luminance are, they come in at about $289 per pencil, and in the 150 set, these are at about $283 per pencil. So their price point is at the same as some of the most bougie, most expensive, high artist grade pencils there are out there. That just blows my mind. Okay, so as far as price goes, in my opinion, these are way overpriced, and I would love to know why. Why are they so expensive? We don't have any proof of any ASTM or Blue Will type testing. They are coming in from Japan. Is that why? But we have like the Erogeton Tombow pencils coming in from Japan, and they are not anywhere near this expensive.
Yeah, that's interesting. So yeah, they really are right up there with the Derwent Lightfast and the Caran Luminance, aren't they?
Yeah, the Derwent Lightfast are $282 per pencil, so exactly the same price point as the Derwent Lightfast. And they come in that fancy wood case when you get that one. So, whoa. So, Prismacolor, of course, is way less money. The full set, 150, is $124. That means these are only 83 cents a pencil. And that's not a huge, great sale price either. That's just a normal price. You can get a really good price on Prismacolor that's even cheaper than that. So the prize for the most inexpensive for me in my area, and at this time, which is August 2021, the prize has to go to Prismacolor. They're way better value. Okay. All right, next thing is best quality in packaging. Both of them, I think, are about the same. You get tins. Yeah, so I think they're equal. So what do we do in that case? I'm going to give them both an X on that one. Okay?
Although they do have the press here.
They do have the press here. Should I give him one?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, Holbein, you won for that little cute little push thing that you built in to save my fingernails. Okay, open stock availability. They're both available open stock. I can get these one pencil at a time through Dick Blick and these one pencil at a time, but I can get these one pencil at a time down the street at Michael's. So I'm going to again award Prismacolor the prize because I can get it at my local store. Again, that might be different for you, so it would be important for you to print this out and do your own head-to-head.
It'll be interesting to see over time as well.
Yeah, will Holbein get cheaper and will they become more available as they get more popular? Pencil appearance and info. So the info part means like the amount of information actually on the pencil, and the appearance is like what I'm inferring is which one is a prettier pencil. So this is my Prismacolors. This is a relatively new set right here. So, Prismacolors are not that fancy of a pencil. They are get down to business type pencil here. They're fine. And the Holbeins, though, they feel really nice in the hand, and they have the nice, easy-to-read writing despite the fact that they're shiny. So I'm going to award Holbein for, I think this is a prettier tool. Has all the information I need, a number, a name. Yeah. So I'm going to give the win to Holbein. Okay. Good job, Holbein. Pencil appearance and info. Core size. They are both at 3.8 millimeter. I'm going to write that next to it. That's the other way you can use this worksheet is you can actually put notes on here that maybe you want to remember the price you paid and all that. You can make notes on here as you go. So they both have the same core. So no difference there. So do they both get an X?
Sure.
Okay. Number of colors available. Prismacolor has, it's 150, right?
Yeah, so they're both 150.
150 and 150. So that's pretty cool. They're equal on that. One thing to note, which I'm not going to ding Holbein on, they are out of stock. So I couldn't get the 150 even if I wanted to right now. But we're still coming out of the COVID, and I'm not going to ding them for that. So I'm just going to give them both a nice little X for that. Lightfast statistics. This is tricky between Holbein and Prismacolor. Again, go check out that video that I'm going to have Steve link. There is some debate as to whether Prismacolor's Lightfast information and the quality of their pencil has any kind of clout. So this is the only information I can find on Prismacolor's Lightfast information. It comes to us via Dick Blick, and it is from 2012, you guys. So this is old, and my printer printed it all in blue. Sorry about that. But it does say they're using the ASTM D6901 standard, which is a really good standard. They have, from everywhere from excellent to poor. When you start actually analyzing all 150 pencils, there's not a whole lot that score excellent to very good. Most of them are scoring good, fair, and poor. So that's why a lot of professional artists don't like Prismacolor. So who do you give the score to? Someone that you don't trust their ratings at all, or someone who isn't publishing any current Lightfast information and the old stuff that we do have?
So neither.
Neither? Should we just... Yeah. Okay, I'm just not going to give anybody a point for Lightfast. So I will put questionable here, and I'm going to put out of date. If any of you...
Oh, she got them mixed up.
Oh, questionable here and out of date. If any of you have current information on Prismacolors Lightfast
Or
information.
even Holbeins.
Or
if you know.
Holbein, yeah. Let me know. I would love to know. Okay, now we get into the hands-on testing. This is going to be fun. First one that we get to do is do some swatching. So what I did was I took the 12 pencils right here. I went into my Prismacolors and I found 12 that match as close as possible as I could find. That's in these 12 right here. And we're going to swatch them in here, and I'll just do a time lapse real quick and I'll be back in a second. Okay, I've got 10 of the 12 colors, not the black and white, all swatched up here in these little squares. So the question is, for test 1, which color swatches do you prefer? So go ahead and look at your screen, and which swatches do you prefer? Prismacolor or Holbein? What do you think, Steve? Which ones do you prefer? So, of course, they're not going to be exactly the same colors.
Right. Yeah, you're not matching colors so much as just...
The kind of feel and, you know, vividness, what other intensity, saturation, and are you just drawn to one side or the other? I did pull some of the gold ink up into that blue, just so you know, by accident.
And they're so close.
Yeah.
I mean,
On the white,
there's
I would
some
say,
I like on the right and some I like on the left, and I think it has more to do with color,
yeah.
the actual color, than it does the
But as
pencil.
far as vividness and saturation, I'd say they're pretty even.
Yeah.
So I'm going to give them both a point. I think they're both equally beautiful. At least for those 10.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, which white is most opaque on black? For this test, what we're going to do is grab a black alcohol marker. You could use a black Sharpie if you've got like Ohuhus or anything like that. You want to use an alcohol marker, not a water-based, because alcohol marker is not going to change the texture of your paper. And we've got 2 squares right here that we're going to flood with black. Now, we didn't pre-flood it with a black like toner, so when you print it wouldn't come out printed black, because that would change the texture of your paper, and it can make it so that whatever you color on it may act different. So it's just better to do this way. The other way to test this is actually on a black piece of paper, but this is a good shortcut and makes things work great. So now we're going to check the whites out. This is so cool. So I'm going to grab my white Prismacolor and let's see how this works. So I'm going to do heavy full pressure on the left and then kind of gradate to lighter pressure on the right. So this is the Prismacolor white, which I love. I don't know how many, now I'm doing medium pressure out to very, very light pressure. Very, very, very light, very light. Okay. I use a lot of white pencils. You can see by how short this one is. White is one of my favorite colors, so this is a really important test for me. I want a really good white pencil. Let's see how opaque this one is now. Over here for the Holbein. Here we go. Heavy pressure, medium pressure, out to the lightest, lightest, lightest pressure. Okay. So again, we're on that good color pencil paper so we can see really good what's going on. I'm going to brush off crumbs and let's take a look which one. So I'm looking to see, is the white a good true white? not kind of an ivory or other color. And then I'm also looking to see how opaque. Is it getting really good full coverage? How does it look? What do you think? Which white do you prefer? The Prismacolor on the left or the Holbein on the right? Which one would you give a score to? Again, they're doing really good, but I think I know which one I'd give a score to. Who do you give a score to, Steve?
I think I would lean a little towards the Holbein.
Me too. Holbein, did you just beat my Prismacolor white? I think we need to have another battle of the white pencils.
Yeah.
If you'd like to see another battle of the white pencils, comment below and let me know.
We did that one a long time ago.
It was a long time ago, and I have a lot more white pencils that we could put into that battle. Okay, Holbein, you get the point right here. So, not the Prismacolor side, the Holbein side gets a point. Okay, now we're going to test which black has the truest black value. For that, I'm pulling out my trusty color wheel, and it has a value scale, and it kind of shows you and helps your eye see a really dark saturated black to a more gray type black. So we'll use this to help. And I'm going to kind of do the same thing here. Grab my Prismacolor black. This time though, we're going to fill the box with black pencil, heavy pressure across the whole box so that we get a good swatch that we can look at fully, okay? So here, make sure I'm on the Prismacolor, holding a Prismacolor, and here we go. So I'm going to do heavy pressure all the way across. As I'm going, I'm kind of paying attention to feel. As I'm doing all these tests, I'm paying attention to how fast are the tips of my pencils wearing down. I'm paying attention to crumbs that are being created, that kind of thing. Okay, I'm not worrying too much, we're not really coloring here, so I don't care that there's spots here on my page that didn't get filled in. I just want a good heavy fill in. Okay, now I'll come over here, do the same thing. Start way over here and heavy pressure. Okay, I'm pushing hard. I avoid doing heavy pressure coloring. Look, I must have drawn on top of it. You can see an impression of some writing. We're not going to count that against the Holbein, don't worry. Okay, whew, I made it across. Okay, let's clean off the crumbs. Crumbs are pretty equal right now. Okay, I'm just using a makeup brush to clean off crumbs. All right, now we'll bring up my little card here, and we'll look at the Holbein first. And we're looking to see, does it land here? Usually with the blacks, they'll land within value 1 or value 2. And then the other thing I'm looking for is it a good black? Like a really basic, neutral black. I don't want one that looks kind of browny. I want it to be a good neutral black that I can use in a lot of different ways. I don't want it to have a blue undertone. I just want a good black. Okay. I definitely think it's leaning into value 1, don't you think, Steve?
For sure, yeah.
It's not value 2.
No, not at all.
And maybe a touch of blue undertone I'm seeing, but nothing that I'm like, ooh, that's terrible, And then over here, again, I'm seeing the same type of blue undertone here. Maybe a little more towards value 2, don't you think?
Yeah.
Okay, so is the score going to Holbein again?
Good for me.
Okay, Holbein. You get another point right here for the truest black value. Whoa! This is interesting. What if they win? Okay, which colors are the most visible on black? Now, what I would recommend for you to do I'm going to do it again here. Anyway, I've already swatched the Holbein on black, but I don't have the Prismacolors on black handy, so we'll just do a few colors. So what we're going to do is same as we did here with the white. We're going to flood this big rectangle here with our alcohol marker to create a black background. And again, even if you don't color on colored backgrounds, what this does show is transparency of the color pencil. If you're looking for a transparent color pencil, then this will help you find a good transparent color pencil. If you're looking for an opaque color pencil, this will help you find that, okay? So that's why this test is so important. So I'm just going to, it says fill the box and swatch on top with your choice of colors. So if you want to know all of them, you could swatch all 12. I've already done the white. I don't want to swatch the black, and I'm just going to swatch maybe 3 of them. So let's grab this really pretty chartreuse green. It's one of my favorite colors. That's why it's so short. So we'll do chartreuse green right here. And let's do a blue. So I'm going to grab the true blue. Oh, gorgeous. I'm doing heavy to medium pressure here. Let's grab the orange. And we'll do one more since we have room. How about the brown? 1082. Okay, now we'll do the same 4 over here, starting with the brown, which was the 180. I'm just making sure I'm grabbing the same ones. Okay, and then we went to orange, so we need 048. This one. Okay, and then we went to the true blue, right? Which, let me make sure, true blue was 903, which is 347, okay? Make sure 347, this one. Okay, and then we did this nice yellow green, which is 251. Okay. Now we're going to move off the crumbs and take a look. So for me, what I look for, I don't like so much a translucent pencil. When I color on black or on a colored background, I really like an opaque pencil. So I'm going to score towards the most opaque, very saturated colors. So you get to score how you want to when you're doing the test. So it's pretty evident really fast which set here, either Prismacolor or Holbein, are standing up against the black background. Again, it's the formula, okay? This is a wax, more waxy, more oily, so that means this is more translucent. So this is doing what it's supposed to. But for me, that means this guy gets a score. I hope that makes sense. Okay, so it's just a preference. Again, this area is somewhat subjective because it's things that are important to you as an artist. For me, I want very opaque, so I'm going to write the word opaque because that's what I'm looking for. Might be different for you. Okay, X right there. Okay, next one, layering. Say we're going to fill a box with the color of choice using light layers, counting the number of layers until full coverage. Layering is a big deal when you're color pencil artists. You want to be able to put down as many layers as you can in order to get beautiful dimension in your color and be able to even make up, if you make a mistake and you want to fix it, layers is where it's at. So we're going to grab, let's do violet. I love violet. And I'm just going to time lapse here and do light layers in the rectangle and count how many layers can I lay down until we get full coverage. So I want to fill the whole box and almost all the white is gone. I'm going to sharpen up each pencil and do it and kind of pay attention again to feel how fast does the tip wear down, crumbs, and how many layers does it take to fill it up. And does there come a point where it feels like the pencil is sort of I call it skating, where sometimes like with really, really cheap pencils, it gets to a point where you can't layer anymore. It just is all filled up and bleh. A good pencil doesn't do that. So let's have some layer swatching fun here. So enjoy the montage of layering. Okay, I have just come to the end of this layering test, and this is the first time that I've kind of seen a weakness of the Holbein pencil. It's not really, it's just a difference between the two. I had to stop and sharpen twice on the Holbein, and I finally just stopped. I sharpened one more time here. So the S's represent when I stopped and sharpened. Here I was able to do 8 layers with the Prismacolor. I stopped and sharpened, did 3 more layers, and I feel like I got almost an entire burnished look over here in this rectangle. Very full coverage. It looks like I sat there and burnished it down, but I didn't. It was all light layers to get that kind of full coverage. Now over here you can see I did 5 layers. I had to stop. Pretty much what I did was I waited until I felt like the only way to get more pigment down would be to either sharpen the pencil or lean in with heavier pressure to get more pigment down. So I sharpened. I put down 2 more layers, and again I came to a point where I was like, I either need to push harder to fill up the white of the paper, or I need to sharpen and try again. So I sharpened, I did 1 more layer, and it didn't make any difference. And you can see it didn't get all the white gone. Over here it's almost all gone, and here there's still white speckles. The other issue over here is look at all the crumbs, massive amounts of crumbs. We had crumbs on the Prismacolor side, but not nearly as many crumbs as what we have going on over here. So layerability, this is a surprise. I'm surprised here. I really thought that the Holbein pencil would beat, hands down, with layerability, the Prismacolor pencil. But not only did the Prismacolor pencil layer better, but in the end we got better coverage. So I'm actually quite shocked that Prismacolor beat Holbein on this one. I thought for sure this was where the Holbeins were going to really shine. So yeah, that's a little disappointing. Oh, because usually oil-based pencils, they really do well with layering. So I'm going to give the point to Prismacolor. So we got the highest number of layers and the best coverage with those layers. So it wasn't just about number of layers, it was better coverage. Yeah, it did really well. Okay, speaking of crumbs, we're going to do a crumb test now. Let's grab another color of pencil. I'm in the mood for red. Let's bring up our red pencil. So what we're going to do is fill each of these boxes with the red, and we're going to do light pressure here, medium pressure, and then heavy pressure. And we'll do it with Prismacolor, and then we'll do it with Holbein. I'm going to sharpen each pencil, I'm going to do each square, and I'm not going to clean off the crumbs this time. We'll look at it together and see which side has the most crumbs, okay? Now each pencil kind of has its own formula and own amount of crumbs. I'm already feeling like in general the Holbein is more crummy, so I know I'll probably give the Holbein a ding on this one because they seem to be more crummy, but they're not wildly more crummy than the Prismacolor, but they are more crummy. So let's run the test just so you can see how it's done. Okay, as expected, we have fewer crumbs here on the Prismacolor side. Let me bring it up to camera so you can see the amount of crumbs. Almost none are showing here on the Prismacolor side. And then you come over here on the Holbein side and there's quite a few more crumbs that are visible here. If we were coloring on black paper, it would be even more evident. The other thing that I find interesting, I sharpened both tips up really good before I started, and I'm looking to see, yeah, the Holbein is worn down way more than the Prismacolor. Well, not way more, but it's worn down more. So I'm definitely using more core of the Holbein than I am the Prismacolor. Again, that's a little surprising to me. Most of my oil-based pencils I tend to use not as fast as my more waxy-based pencils. So yeah, that's surprising. Okay, so let's mark and give Prismacolor the point here for fewer crumbs created when coloring with them. Now the next thing we wanted to kind of check is the transfer of pigment. So what we're going to do is remove the crumbs just to make it fair. Get rid of all these crumbs. And what we're going to do is take our thumb here. Let's see, I'll use my left thumb for the left side, the Prismacolor, and I'm just going to, let's see, should we swipe? Yeah, let's swipe from darkest to lightest. Dark to light. Okay. And then I'll swipe the dark to light over here. And check both thumbs. And the pigment transfer seems to be pretty even, about the same amount of red on this thumb as there is on that thumb. So the pigment transfer is about the same. I've had some pencils where you just barely touch into them and you just the color just comes off. So whatever binders or fillers they're using to try to help keep the pigments on the paper are just not doing their job. So that's what that test is for, and these seem pretty even. So I'm going to give them both a point for decent lack of transfer. Okay, so they both get a point there. Okay, now we're going to do a test of water solubility. And while I have the reds out, we'll just use our reds. So what this is testing is recently there's been a lot of discussion about how pencils that aren't supposed to be water soluble, which means when you hit the colored out pigment with water, it acts like watercolor and it releases all the pigments, and the fillers and the binders aren't doing what they're supposed to do, and the color just spreads like paint. So it seems to be that almost all pencils do this to an extent, and some are a lot worse than others. So we're going to find out. I'm going to do medium pressure in each of these squares. So this is my Prismacolor side, using our crimson red. Just fill it in pretty evenly this time so it's as fair as possible. And then on this side we'll do our carmine. And then we'll get a brush, and Steve brought me some water, and we'll just see if any or how much pigment will move from the left to the right when we use a brush, and sort of we're going to agitate it a little bit and, you know, see what happens. So let me grab a brush here. How about you? Just a random general purpose brush. Okay, here we go. Let's start with Prismacolor. Okay, get my brush wet with just plain water. Knock off most of the water so it's just a nice damp brush. And we're just gonna, really get it wet and move it so you can see how soluble it is. So a lot of that pigment moved. I'm not surprised. Okay, now we will do the Holbein side. What do you think, Steve? Move or not move? I'm really cleaning the brush off. I don't want any of the Prismacolor red to get involved here.
I don't know.
Cleaning my brush. Okay, I think I got all the red off. A little bit of water. Here we go. Really scruffle, and move. Whoa.
Wow.
Well done, Holbein. Okay, so the point will go to Holbein. We don't want a water-soluble color pencil. Unless you are buying a water-soluble color pencil, you don't necessarily want it. This affects a lot of coloring techniques that we do. And so to have something that's water-soluble is not helpful when you don't want it. So let's give the point to Holbein. Well done, Holbein. Okay, so the binders are least water-soluble. That would be Holbein. Okay, now we're going to do the blend test with Jennifer's rule of blending thirds. So what this is going to do is test both layering and blending and how well colors come together. So we're going to pick some colors that maybe they're a little bit far apart. Let me put Prismacolor where it belongs. So we'll start with yellow. Yellow's, I think, yellow? We'll do...
You could do red and orange.
Yeah, we need 3 colors. And we're going to run through Jennifer's rule of blending thirds. I'm not going to teach it to you here because I have lots of other videos where I teach Jennifer's rule of blending thirds. But
I think you do often use yellow, red, and orange.
Should I do that?
Yeah.
Okay. The only thing I was thinking is, do we want to use something that's farther apart? More difficult?
I don't know. That red and that yellow are pretty far apart.
Okay, we'll do yellow, red, and orange. Well, yellow to orange to red, and then we'll do yellow to orange to red. So again, I'm going to be paying attention to how easy is this to do this? How does it feel? All those things. So that when we get to the subjective questions here at the end, I can answer those questions. Okay, so I'm going to do Jennifer's rule of blending thirds in this teeny tiny little rectangle, so it should go pretty quick. And if you want to know how to do blending, we have some awesome workshops. We have an entire fast track series where we teach how to color with color pencils. So if you would like to learn some awesome tips and tricks on coloring with color pencils, then the fast track workshop series would be awesome for you. We teach this trick and we teach some more advanced techniques. It's so much fun. I highly recommend it. So I'll put a link in the video description for the fast track for color pencils. So if you'd like to learn how to color with your color pencils, come check it out. Okay, I will time lapse this and come back when I have these pencils blended out, and we'll talk about my experience. Okay, so these are the 2 squares I just completed with Jennifer's rule of blending thirds. And I gotta say, I struggled with the Holbein. It was the orange that was tricky. And I wonder if it has to do with how translucent it is. If it just had a hard time playing nicely with others. That's one of my guesses. These 3 came together beautifully. It's kind of what I expected. That's one of the reasons I love Prismacolors. They blend beautifully. They are stellar at blending. So these struggled a little bit, but it still came out gorgeous. That's the power of Jennifer's rule of blending thirds. But I had to work for it to get it to come out smooth. So I'm going to give the win to Prismacolor because it turned out beautiful and it was easier to accomplish that blend. It would be interesting to do Jennifer's rule of blending thirds with a few different trios, the head-to-head few different trios and see if I have the same experience, but it was a random selection, and that's the experience I had. So the win goes to Prismacolor here. Okay, the sharpening easily to a point. I've been doing a lot of sharpening as all of this has been going on, and they both sharpen beautifully, but I must say, the Holbein sharpen so much easier. I think the wood on the Holbein pencils must be a little nicer. That's my only guess. So when it comes to sharpening the pencils, the one that I'm always like, yes, I get to sharpen one, is a Holbein, which is a good thing because I've been sharpening the Holbein maybe twice as much as the Prismacolors. So it's a good thing that they're easy to sharpen. Look at my gorgeous curls. Aren't they beautiful? So yeah, I'll say that as far as ease of sharpening, the Holbein sharpens beautifully. So it's going to win a point. Holds a point without excessive sharpening. The Holbein does need more sharpening than I like. So these very expensive pencils, I think I'm going to be blowing through them pretty fast. Ouch! So that's painful. Okay, so Prismacolor gets a point because you don't have to sharpen them as much. Easy on the hand when coloring. They're equal. They both feel very smooth and easy to work with. So I think I'll give them both a point. I would recommend them both. If you have hand pain or you're not a fan of coloring with color pencils because it's hard work on your hand, both of these would give you a good experience. So I'm going to give them both a point for that. All right, I'm going to tally these up. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 points over here for Prismacolor. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 points to Holbein. So Prismacolor is still on top, but not by much. Not by much at all. That's pretty cool. And I must say, I'm really looking forward to doing a coloring piece where I use the Holbeins. And I think I'll do one on the chibi, so you can look forward to that. Look for it. I probably put it on the Facebook page and on our Instagram. Now, what would you like me to do in the future for a head-to-head? I want to do more of these battles where we put two brands head-to-head and see who comes up the winner. We can do a lot of different brands. Steve and I have been investing in tons of different lines of pencils, so please comment below on which brands you would like me to do a head-to-head comparison for, and we can do more of these videos in the future if you would like us to. So let us know by giving us a thumbs up, subscribe, and comment below which brands you want us to compare. And if you download this worksheet and do your own head-to-head comparison, we want to know what winner you declare in your head-to-head comparison. So come on over to our Facebook group. Steve will put the name up right now on the screen and let us know what is your winner. This will help our community because they will know from your experience which brands you prefer. And again, everybody's experiences will be different. That's what's so great about this little chart here, because it will differ from region and from experience. So it's really a powerful little tool. I hope you enjoy this free download. Come and get it. Don't forget to enter for the giveaway. We're so excited about that, and I hope you enjoyed this head-to-head comparison. I must say I'm pretty proud of my Prismacolor pencils, but I am excited to color with those Holbeins. Thanks everyone for joining us, and I hope you all have a wonderful, colorful, blissful day. Bye-bye, everyone!